All right, I'd like to call this meeting to order. Purpose of this meeting tonight, the sole item on the agenda is a public hearing on COVID-19 violations for Ace Porter LLC DBA Porter's Pub. And I assume I need to read the notice of the hearing. So there's notice of hearing of COVID-19 violations today, November 6th at 4:30 via the Zoom meeting. So to Ace Porter, this letter shall serve as notice of a hearing of the Board of Health for the town of Rockland, scheduled for November 6th, 4:30 p.m. During which the Board of Health shall consider the alleged violations of the Governor of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts emergency COVID-19 orders, Journal OSC 111, Section 122, by a restaurant as witnessed by the town's health agent on October 31st, 2020. Said alleged violations included but are not limited to violations of wearing facial coverings, indoor entertainment, and proper social distancing of patrons. So with that, Sean, do you want to present what you witnessed?
Sure. So I want to first say that thank everybody for attending today's meeting. And again, this meeting was the intent of this meeting was to educate Porter's Pub on the items that were noticed. So on October 31st, I received notification that Porter's Pub was having a live performer and a Halloween party. I spoke with the police department. They met me there at 8:30, maybe a little bit after 8:30. We spoke briefly out in the parking lot regarding what is to happen. I informed them that I spoke with my chairman, and we decided to have them close until we could have a formal in-person meeting, discuss the violations, and really to educate Porter's Pub on all issues, as I've had documentation going back, multiple emails questioning multiple times whether or not live performance can happen. I've explained to them in every single email. I've sent them all the checklists, the protocols, and the work safety document that the state provides to me. It is not a necessary thing that I have to do, but I feel that it is the right thing that I make sure that everybody is up to date on all orders that the governor does, because they're changing day by day, week by week, month by month. Rockland is in a red zone. That means that since we were in the red zone for 3 consecutive weeks, we revert back to phase 3, step 1. We were in step 2. Part of phase 3, step 1 is that the pool tables cannot be open. When we entered Porter's Pub, to the left was the first thing that I noticed, was they were playing pool and they were consuming alcohol beverages while they were playing pool, and they were not wearing their masks. I continued into the place, into the establishment, and then you could hear the singer singing. And at that point, you saw a lot of people just I don't know, putting on masks. And I did witness some tables that did not have food at their tables, but they did have drinks. The bartender, I noticed that her face mask was up at times, down at times. Most of the time it was down. Um, Other patrons they were walking around, no masks were on. People were drinking. The area that everybody was into. So the police officer had counted 47 people. He was successfully able to count 47 people. There could have been more or not, I'm not sure. Um, However, people were, the area that um, everybody conjugates in at Porter's Pub is a very small area. We've had this discussion before about it being such a small area and that they really should utilize around the corner where there's a bigger area. But the Porter's Pub had told me that their patrons like the bar experience. So that's why they're all in that small little area. And if you're in there, you do notice that it's very small and it's very compact, and everybody's really on top of each other in that small area. For 47 people to be there, it's a very small area. So my goal was just to go back inside Porter's Pub on Monday with my chairman and sit down and discuss the protocol and making sure that there's proper signage, that their attestation form is filled out, all these documents that are required by the state at any given time. The state could go in there and it would be a worse situation for them than just me. I know that Porter's Pub feels that I pick on them, and I'm not picking on them. I am just trying to follow all the orders and guidances set by the governor. And part of my job is to enforce those rules. And so that was my goal, was just to let's take a break, close down, have a discussion on Monday, and that we're all on the same page. And then going forward, we would continue to spot check. Um, so, and here we are today. Actually, let me rewind back. So after I had gone into Porter's Pub on Saturday, I did witness, again, like I said, a live performer, singer. I expressed my concerns to the performer, told him that he should really know these guidelines more than anybody because that's his job. And he didn't take that very well. I was being jarred by patrons, and I understand I ruined their good time. But the names I was being called, it was just not right. So the police did most of the talking. I sat back, observed. At the end, people were stating that they weren't leaving until they finished their drink. And we patiently waited for everyone just to finish their drink. I wasn't making people drop what they were doing right then and there and leave. So after all of that, we had a brief discussion outside with the bartender. She explained to me that they try to do the best that they can and follow all the rules. They weren't aware that pool tables can't be used. They weren't aware that live performance could be used. Mrs. Porter stated that she got approval from the ABCC to have a live performer. And I told them that that's not true. And if they wanted to provide me with that information, I'd be happy to look into it. We left. Again, the staff was very cooperative. I know that one bartender was angry because, she is paying her son's college tuition with the money that she earns bartending. And, I understand that businesses are being affected by this. I'm just, again, doing what I'm supposed to do. So we left. Late afternoon, I received notification that Porter's Pub was opened. I immediately called Mr. Healy, who I've always thought that I had a great relationship with in the past. He's always been the mediator between myself and the Porters, the owners. And again, we had a conversation and he said, well, you didn't post it on the door. So our council advised us to open on Sunday. And I explained to Mr. Healy, the reason why there was no message posted on the door was because it would be a bad look for them. And I wasn't looking to, order them shut forever. I just wanted them to take a break and regroup on Monday after I was able to educate them with my chairman. So he said, so then I quickly went on my computer. I spoke with my chairman and my other member, Christine Stewart, and I told her the situation. She offered to meet me there along with the Rockland Police Department. We went there. I called Mr. Healy on my way there. I said, well, I'm going. If you want me to post something on the door, I can go there right now. And he said, let's hold off on that and let me speak to the Porters and see what they say. So upon arrival at Porter's Pub, I met Christine Stewart there. And while we were there, Mr. Healy called. We had a brief discussion. He conferenced in Catherine Porter, who was very angry. Again, stated that she had approval from the ABCC to have live entertainment. She questioned if I knew what acoustic music meant. I told her I did. I said the performer was a live performer. Mr. Healy actually had to calm her down and say, wait a second, this is not what we're here for. Calm down. I agreed. They agreed to close. So everybody dispersed prior to me going inside the establishment. After everybody dispersed, I had a conversation with Christine Stewart and Sergeant Novio. We went inside. There were no patrons inside. They were just cleaning up. I reiterated to them that I was going to have a discussion on Monday with the Porters. And then I kind of got a little nervous because they were talking about their attorney advising them and their attorney was going to come. So I reached out to town council and got advisement from town council.
Thank you. Yeah, as Delshwin mentioned, she was in contact with me over the phone where I was tied up in Weymouth, with my own shop. I couldn't just, drop that and leave. Yeah, there has been other cases, times where we did have to speak with, the porters and the rest of the employees there. I think um, we have been very receptive to trying to make changes to help them succeed through all this. I'm very sympathetic to the restaurant business. In general, just considering that's my main background, I understand how hard it is to make a living in the restaurant industry. But rules and guidelines need to be followed. When the public's health is at jeopardy. We mentioned the singer. Yes, you are allowed to have acoustic entertainment, and somebody wants to sit there and play the guitar or the piano. That's fine, but this is a airborne virus. So, for lack of a better term, there is no spoken word, so to speak. There's no singing, because that is how it's spread. We did see some of the video as far as the lack of mask usage and people walking around with or without masks on, mostly without still drinking. The rules state that you must be seated at your table if you're going to consume food or beverage. And as we all know, when alcohol is involved, and that's one of the reasons why the government has these rules. Our inhibitions decline, our judgment gets a little bit more it's poor, and that's when mistakes get made and accidents happen. So the whole point of this is to try and keep everybody safe, so the patients do keep coming back, and you can keep serving your customers. We want to hear from Porters Club now.
Well, just 1 second, because I just want Christine to be able to also speak to.
Oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely. I'm sorry, Christine, you just go ahead. Sorry.
Hi. That's okay. So I, like Delshawn said, I received a call from her on Sunday afternoon. She explained the situation, and I offered to head over with her, mostly because, most of I'm new to the Board of Health. It's a learning experience for me, and I wasn't sure if she would need some support. Wanted to know, and I also wanted to know sort of how things worked. So I offered to head over. She, didn't feel that I needed to, but if I wanted to, that would be okay. So I did opt to go and meet her there. I can say that, like she said, we met over there. There was a phone call. I heard part of the call. Delshawn was in her car and I was outside the car. So I didn't hear everything that happened with Mr. Healy and Mrs. Porter, but I do know there were parts that I did hear, and I know that they were upset, understandably so. It's a business. I agree with Scott in that it's difficult. It's a difficult situation. Everybody's having a hard time with it, so we get that. But there are rules, and there's rules for a reason, and we have to make sure that they're being followed for the safety of the public. So we did go, patrons left, and we went inside, and, Delshawn checked out, some things in the kitchen. And, we'd had a conversation with one of the gentlemen who worked there. I believe Mr. Baker was his name. And, we talked to him for a little bit. Delshawn just explained to him, pretty much what she said, just trying to educate them, explained why the sign wasn't being put up right away, explained why we were there on Sunday, as they were told not to open until Monday, and they had opened, on Sunday. So, she did educate them as to why we were there, and we just basically, after everybody left, made sure that things got closed up, and that was it. And then they were told that we would be in touch on Monday. So that was pretty much it.
Thank you, Christine. Appreciate it. Okay. Who's here for Porter's Pub? Is Steve or?
Hi, Scott. I'm actually counsel for Porter's Pub. It's Ash Eichelberg. I've been speaking with Attorney Kenny last couple of days about this matter.
Okay. Okay. So what is the view of your clients?
So at this time, Porter's Pub is certainly within compliance according to the town's guidelines. They're back and reopened, intend to continue to stay open and abide by the recommendations of the Board of Health and their officers.
Excellent. Definitely appreciate that. As I mentioned, we've definitely had conversations, guidance, education meetings in the past, helping them navigate these waters, the COVID waters. We want to be able to help them succeed with that. Going forward, obviously, we don't want to, shut any business down in town. We do need to make sure that, the guidelines are followed and the public is kept safe, from this public health point of view. I would definitely be satisfied, going forward with them, staying open, and like you said, abiding by, the guidelines. I definitely want to make sure we are all on the same page as far as, what has to, be done on a daily basis. And, to make sure that, they are properly educated as to what is, what can be done, what can't be done. So we don't have any going forward, I think any negative, events going forward. Let's see here.
Scott, can I ask this question? This is Michael at Porter's Pub.
Yes,
can I ask, how do we deal with the ambiguity between towns about what's allowed and not allowed? I'll give you a perfect example. Last 2 Friday nights ago, I was at Giardino's in Abington. They had an acoustic singer singing at the bar with an amplifier. A month ago, I was at the patio in Whitman. Before entertainment was allowed again, they had tables up at the bar, and I asked the owner point blank. He said, as long as you're not serving across the bar, you're allowed to have the tables at the bar. Yet in Rockland, we were told it's not a good look and you can't have them up against the bar. So how do we deal with the ambiguity between towns? Because that's where a lot of this is coming from.
Sure. I definitely agree with you. I've seen the same thing. Maybe not the same locations, but I've definitely seen a difference across the town lines. Absolutely. I know even before before 2 governor decisions ago, but when he increased it to 10 people per table and allowed the bar seating, assuming there was a 6-foot distance and or the barrier between the server and the patron. because I know I saw that at the state, and there was something, like I said, I'm trying to increase seating capacity for you guys. Absolutely. So we brought that. I brought that to Delshon. Delshon brought that to the state, and basically the state's statement was, it doesn't really matter what, in this case it was Rhode Island, what they're doing. There's no seating at the bar.
And that was previous, but now
Right.
the decision was made to allow seating at the bar as long as there was a barrier. We purposely chose not to allow that, so we didn't get into this gray area.
Yeah.
And we purposely decided not to put the barricades up to do what we thought was protecting ourselves.
Sure. Well, I think going back to your original question, going forward, I like to think we do have like an open door, or in this case, an open phone line, with anybody. If there are any questions, for example, why are they allowed to do this, and, or can we do this? You definitely reach out to Delshon in the office, for guidance in that. I will say that, it's been our decision to, abide by the state, rulings. And I know other towns, it's difficult to be able to, especially the larger ones, to be able to go out and to, for lack of a better term, police everybody. Really, I've been told that it's more, unless they get a complaint on a business, they're not going out and trying to catch people in the act. But we are trying to follow the guidelines, to the letter of the law. And I think just going forward, as far as seating at the bar, or singers playing pool, which, as Delshon mentioned, we've been in the race for 3 weeks, so we had to go back a step. So pool is, pardon the pun, off the table. And there still is definitely no singing, because that is definitely a point of potential exposure.
Agreed 100%. And we've gone back to phase 1 with no pool and the limited number of people and everything else. We just also want to make sure it's a level playing field within the town.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I know you're definitely concerned about other establishments, which we definitely looked into. I will actually say I've inquired on one particular establishment that you pointed out, through kids or friends of mine that might patronize the place, and one actually works there, and if they definitely confirmed there has been no entertainment, that kind of thing. We are looking around, at the other establishments, making sure, like you said, it is a level playing field. Absolutely. Lost my train of thought on something.
Because the other thing a lot of places in Rockland were doing is Singo, which is Abington does. It's someplace in Abington. I know Players was doing Singo in Rockland for a little while. I don't know if they still are or not. And that's what I mean, a level playing field.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. We definitely want, like you said, equal playing field. As far as I know, and I do try and hop in different places, when I can. And we have not received any other complaints, as far as other establishments doing those types of events. I know there was as far as players goes, you know, Jackie did mention they just never updated their website. You know, as far as the entertainment that was previously scheduled for that, but that was never held.
Catherine, Catherine would like to say something.
Oh, sure. Yeah, go right ahead.
Hi, I just have a couple of questions.
Yeah.
So Jim, the DJ guy who runs all the singos, has been coming in our place. I can't even tell you how many times, asking us why we don't have him, because every other place in Rockland and the surrounding areas is doing singo.
I just want to, can I just,
Yeah, Sean, go ahead. Yeah.
I'm sorry to interject. When you say slingo, are you talking about a DJ playing music and you've got
Plays songs and
bingo?
he has a microphone and he plays songs and you have a bingo card
Does he
and you
sing?
X off.
Does he?
You X off the songs that he plays.
Oh yeah, I've been at slingos in other communities. Yes, I'm well aware of it. But the slingos that I've been to has just been a DJ. He's not singing, he's playing music, and also that's not allowed. And if
But
I
he
know,
has a microphone and he walks around to the customers interacting with all of the people.
I will double check, but the latest guidance I received from the state, that's not allowed. If I know what's happening, I would call. I would make, if it's happening in anywhere in Rockland, I would
Because that's why
verify.
we haven't booked him yet, because we didn't know if.
And I
they could-
appreciate that.
He comes in like a couple of times a week asking us why we're the only place that doesn't have it.
While we're on this meeting right now, I'll reach out to the state and just clarify that. They're usually good about answering back in a timely fashion. So let me just shoot that off while you guys continue if you have any other questions. But like I said, if I don't go to the establishments to pick them out on everything they're doing wrong, I only go to establishments if I receive a complaint and I follow up with that establishment. You're not the only one that's gotten complaints. There's been many establishments. And I always verify the complaint before anything. So let me see what I can get a response back from DLS. Just a second.
I could just say something too. I mean, I guess I understand what you're saying in terms of the level playing fields, but the thing is that, you know, we're all responsible to make sure that we're doing what we're supposed to do. So you really want to make sure that you're following those guidelines, whether other people are or not. And, you know, like Delshawn said, if there are complaints, you certainly want to, she'll follow up on those. And, you know, you want to just make sure that you're doing the right thing, even though other people may not be. And if you know personally, or have been to those places personally, then absolutely, you know, let Delshawn know that that's what's happening. Because we wouldn't know unless we're at those establishments. So, you know, you do have to just kind of make sure that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing all the time. And if you're doing that, then, you know, there's not going to be a whole lot of issue. I know that there seems like there's a lot of gray areas, but if anybody has questions, they should be giving us a call and asking about that.
Hi, Christine. So in terms of educating my clients properly on their obligations as a business owner in the community. So, you know, I understand Ms. Flip is very busy being the only health agent for the town. If they have a question about operating in some way, shape, or form, and they can't get a hold of Ms. Flip for some reason, is there a secondary point of contact that they can reach out to?
Delshon is the first. I don't. We don't have our numbers posted. I believe.
Why?
But we certainly can. You know,
So going
have
forward,
that
I think it might be a
contact.
smart idea since we're unable to actually go to the town of Rockland. Maybe good for the general public, business owners to have a direct contact.
So I know myself, I do have I made a Board of Health Gmail account, which is, it'd be a way of, a point of access. So if somebody did
Schedule for November 2020 of plans.
did reach out,
So it's
did reach out to Delshon and she was not, could not be reached, for whatever reason, both the other,
Bingo and live music.
both the other office workers do have that, and I know sometimes they like to ask if it's okay to give that out, but I'll make sure that the office does know that basically it's smargolis@gmail.com.
Okay.
Feel free to reach out to me.
Hey, Scott, when you get a chance after this meeting, would you go check Player's website? It's, we just looked at it and Singo's defined on Friday nights and live music on Saturday, the entire month.
I just want to real quick, just to reiterate,
And
I
somebody should
spoke
let-
with the owner. She hasn't been able to update her.
It's funny, she's already updated for the whole schedule for November.
For November, it's already
Already
updated.
updated. And
So-
I've had a lot of my patrons and myself in there when she has had live entertainment in the last 2 weeks.
I'm going to tell you, I am aware that she had live entertainment on October 16th. I'm aware of that. And
Was a warning
didn't-
issued by any chance?
I'm sorry,
Was a warning issued on that date?
I wasn't aware of it. No one told me until the following week.
Have you been there since you were notified?
Yes, I have. Yep.
Okay. And what action was taken after that?
I wasn't there to witness.
No. What action did you take after you went to visit the?
I
Yes.
called her and I told her that she could not have live entertainment.
Okay.
And
So in this instance, you visited Porter's Pub with law enforcement after you were notified of live entertainment, and in the other incident, you called her.
attorney, you're kind of twisting what I'm saying. I
I'm not
found
twisting it,
out
I'm simply
on
stating the fact.
Saturday night at 8:30, at 8 o'clock at night, that Plays was having live music. So I went there.
When you went
I
to Porter's
found
Pub
out
on
about-
Saturday night at 9:30, it was a different situation.
No. Just let me explain. So I found out Saturday night that Porter's Pub was having live entertainment. So I went there.
Right.
Correct. I found out that after October 16th, when Players had live entertainment, I found out a week after they had live entertainment.
And you didn't go visit them.
I did go visit them. You're not letting me finish. I called her. I explained to her the situation, and
So
she
did
said,
you call or did you visit?
Excuse me, you got to let her finish.
Stop interrupting.
Let her finish. You can't interrupt. We're on Zoom, one at a time. Let her finish, and then you can talk. Stop interrupting. Go ahead, Deli.
so I called her and I told her that live entertainment could not happen. After that, 2 days later, somebody called me and said, Players is going to be having live music on Halloween. So I went to Players. I spoke with Jackie and she again said, I haven't been able to update. She booked them before COVID started because it's a big money maker for her. And she always has a band on Halloween and has a Halloween costume. So she was not able to take it off of her website. I've also, just so you guys know, I also just got off the phone with DLS and they stated that Slingo cannot happen. Music trivia can. Music bingo can. You cannot walk around and sing and play games.
Exactly. So basically, what we're trying to do is limit the, point of exposures, trying to limit the contact, especially when you have you have patrons sitting at tables, and whether you agree with this or not, it can be a little ridiculous, but it's one form of trying to contain any type of exposure. You have, a table of 4, a table of 6, whatever, sitting there, having a few drinks, having some, appetizers, having dinner. You need to be able to try and limit the amount of point of exposure. But it's not just 15 minutes in blocks, it's accumulative. It's being able, it's constantly, exposing, the different people, to potential exposure of the virus. So walking around with a microphone, you cannot have that happen. Singing in general, I can't believe I'm saying this. I never thought I would say this, but we can't have singing because of the potential spread of the virus. Even with masks on, it does not contain it fully. And some masks actually make it worse. With the possibility of spread. I definitely believe we need to reach out to players again, and we will make sure that they are not having it. And try to get them to up if they had. Well, actually, I know they haven't updated because yes, I did. I just went on the website and I saw that they do have Singo advertised for us of the month, and I think it was Thursdays. So that is definitely something that we need to address. And as Telshwan said, you can have the music bingo and and trivia like that. And as far as like trivia goes, obviously the MC definitely needs to wear a mask, but also stay put at his table or stand, not be mingling around. Just to help keep everybody safe. With that, Steve, did you have any thoughts on this?
Nothing that hasn't been said already. My conversations with Delshawn have been that the guidelines that we're using are all state guidelines. And if other towns are not enforcing state guidelines, that would be on other towns. We're doing our best to hold the line. I know things change every day. My neighbors are all asking me what's going on, and they tell them things change every day. The guidelines have been pretty much out there. They've been announced. I mean, starting. I think it starts tonight. We're in a little bit more of a tight situation, and the worst thing that we right now. I mean, Rockland's considered a hotspot, so we're kind of in a tough spot. We're not going to get any relief from this until we can get back down into not being a hotspot. And when you start putting a lot of people together, you only need one sick person to make things really bad. And I think that's about all I got to say. I think if this is educational, that goes so far. But at this point, what are we doing moving forward? Are we gonna what are we proposing for an action?
I'm always open. Mike Healy's called me numerous times. If he has any questions, I've always answered him. I am not, this isn't like a witch hunt to get Porter's to be shut down. I want to see them to successfully run their business. That position, that place has, better filled than empty. It's just not a good look for the town. This isn't something that I'm personally doing to affect Porter's Pub. I just need to state that. It really am just doing my job.
Yeah, exactly. I think that it is stated, and it's known that there's nothing personal here at all. We're looking at the town and keeping the town safe. As you said, we don't concern ourselves across the town borders, what Abington, Hanson, Whitman, whatever is doing. We're focusing on us. I think we agree that there's an open door, open phone line policy, since you really can't just pop in anymore. It's definitely there. Sean, please make sure that can you know that if anybody does need to reach me, they can give out my Gmail address. That's fine. Going forward, now my thought, which I'll present to the rest of the board and to you, Dell, is I think we're all in agreement with this. I would like to think, and Steve and Kathleen, right? I'm sorry. I believe we're all on the same page as far as what is and is not allowed. As we've mentioned, it's definitely posted on websites, state websites, and we've also, delivered that information to each of the businesses also. But going forward, I think, we, as long as everything is followed, I'm satisfied. We want Porters. We want everybody to succeed. If there are any questions going forward, please, reach out. What I don't want to see going forward is the whole, this establishment is doing it, so why can't I? Thought, I just did it, kind of thing. Please reach out to us. If you have any questions on it, I don't want to see ignorance, come into play going forward. As far as, I wasn't aware, because like I said, the rules are out there. Fairly plain. Sorry, that's something to say. So I'm happy going forward. It's somewhat of a clean slate, going forward, and being able to, have Porters, run their business, follow the rules, and hopefully going forward there is no other, phone calls that we receive about concerns.
You say it's the same person who keeps calling.
Scott, I have one question. It's Michael.
Yep.
I know in today's society, people can post on Yelp or whatever, a bad review, or they can make a phone call and say, this is going on and this is doing that. How do we protect ourselves from that? Are we entitled, or should we get a warning saying, listen, you just got a complaint, I'm coming down, or what do you do in today's world? Again, they could be irritated customers. They could be mad because we wouldn't serve them a beer because it was after hours.
Sure, absolutely. That has, even before COVID, and Delshawn, I'm sure you can expand on this. That's happened with, upset former employees calling, and a lot of times, we'll go down. We have to look into it, but we take where the complaint is coming from. We go in with an open mind, and we.
Unfortunately, most of the time
we see for ourselves.
Unfortunately, the complaints are anonymous.
Yes, they are. They are, because nobody wants to, put their name to anything. As far as going forward, I mean, if we did, were to get complaints, whether it's, players, whether it's porters, whether it's the banner or any of the other establishments, whether it's COVID related or food related, we will be, in looking into it, and seeing if whatever the claim is, has any truth to it. If we go there and we see with our own eyes that there is a violation, then there is a violation. And we'll have to address it.
That's fair enough.
But if we go there and everything's fine, then all right, everything's fine. It's the complaint is unsubstantiated, and it basically just gets out of the way. Sean, do you have anything to add to that?
Are you talking about complaints?
Yes.
Yeah, so I asked a while ago when I was at a seminar, are we allowed to take anonymous complaints? And the state said you absolutely can. So that's what I do. I will, if I get a complaint from somebody for whatever establishment it is, I do reach out to them. I let them know in advance. Unfortunately, your situation was completely different. I had to go and see that there was live music being played. That wasn't something that I could just call you up and say, are you having live music?
All right, so going forward, what is the pleasure of the board? Christine and Steve, do either you have anything else to add as far as going forward? I think it's fairly simple. That they could continue as they are, following the rules. And if there are complaints with any establishment, we will investigate them, look into it. If it's substantiated, so be it. And if nothing gets tossed out, no harm, no foul, so to speak. I'm not sure what else we really need to do as far as that. First, you have anything?
No, I don't have anything to add to that.
Okay. Christine?
Sorry, I was on mute. I had to switch over from my iPad to my iPhone because my iPad was dying, regardless of the fact that it was plugged in.
Also with your finger coming at me.
I know, sorry. I don't have anything else to add. I agree with, just what you said. So yeah, I mean, I think we just take it one at a time and go from there. And hopefully there aren't any further issues.
I want to think that we did clarify a few questions tonight. Steve, would that be correct? Steve Porter?
You mentioned the Banner Pub. I just went online to choose Banner Pub, and they made an announcement on their Facebook page that they're going to comply with the next phase. I mean, and it's sad, and I think that customers are all sad. And I can't picture trying to run a restaurant in these times. It's got to be the toughest thing in the world.
I'm so glad I got out of that business.
Yeah. But it's I think if I could make a suggestion, if there's any way to put even to have your own sign up there to say, look, to comply with the governor's the governor's regulations on trying to beat the COVID, this is what we have to do. And that way it'd be, even if it's like a little sandwich board out front, and just to let people know. I mean, I don't think that would be a bad thing. Would be something in writing, not posted by us, but posted by the owner.
Sure.
I think that's a good suggestion, Steve. Yeah, because, you know, it does change all the time, and it is helpful to have it in writing that people are aware of those changes, because not everybody gets that information the same way that we do. So definitely, you know, maybe having something posted that's, you know, fairly simple, the basic rules, that at least you can kind of say, you know, look, this is what we have to do. And we appreciate your cooperation. Good suggestion.
It definitely, it also helps with the misinformation that's out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is hard. I mean, I agree. It's hard because, you know, it is changing all the time. And, you know, I mean, the guidelines tonight are totally different than they were last weekend. So, you know, that's going to affect things even more. And I know people are scared, and it affects every single person that's out there. And we just have to do our best to try to follow the guidelines, and it's not easy. It's not easy at all. I think we all empathize with that.
Hopefully it changes going forward just for the positive. So, Chris Kenny, so I assume we need to make do we need to make a motion that going forward, you know, what?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. You can kind of just kind of, if the board's kind of satisfied that, you know, the punishment's been served and there's not, you know, just kind of moving forward. As you said, it seems like, you know, and I talked to Porter's Pub attorney before this, and, you know, and we did talk about it, kind of the same thing that we're talking about tonight. Like, it's not, you know, certainly not, the town has no desire to shut anyone down. Like you guys have been reiterating, we're not saying the rules are fair. We're not saying the rules are easy on restaurants and bars. We're just saying the town has a responsibility to enforce the laws, and the employees and the board has that responsibility. And, you know, they're just trying to do their jobs, because if they don't do their jobs, then they get in trouble. So again, it's just a matter of you know, just asking that everybody follows the rules. I know the gentleman before referenced this other restaurant, and, you know, that they may be having this slingo. I don't even know what that slingo is or anything like that. But, you know, certainly if you have that information, forward it to the health agent. Let the health agent know, and she will investigate. You know, that's what she's there for. You know, if she's not put on notice, like she said, she doesn't know everything that's going on. So anybody else, you know, who's on this or new from the public, if there is something, you know, that they believe may be in violation, that's definitely notify the health agent. And again, you know, there was some mention about the anonymous complaint being anonymous sometimes, but of course that's to promote people coming forward for, you know, that's obviously, that's why the law is in place, that you can do the anonymous complaints, not only in this, but in, you know, other matters, criminal matters. Obviously that's to promote people coming forward, because people know that if they're going to be outed, you know, they face potential retaliation. And I certainly understand that allows for, you know, frivolous complaints as well. We all know that potentially happens. But, you know, we hope that the majority of those, you know, complaints, you know, that the majority are true complaints, or at least in good faith, and that people would not do that just to try to, you know, for their own personal agenda. So yeah, so definitely, I think it seems like I said, you know, in talking to the Porter's attorney, it seems like, you know, before and obviously the statement that, you know, they conveyed today, it seems like they're definitely, you know, all for, you know, if the board wants to just do a motion to basically say that, you know, right, that just moving forward, they basically serve the, you know, kind of serve their penalty, and moving forward, we'll just, you know, go from there.
Okay, thank you. Okay. All right. All right. With that, would anybody like to make a motion?
Yeah, I'll make the motion to just, time served and we'll move on.
Second.
Okay. Okay. All right. So we have a motion that, the punishment has been served, and we'll just, move on and forward.
I just don't like the word punishment. That's all. They weren't being punished. I wanted to educate them. I know that I keep saying the same thing, but if we could just rephrase it and say, and not consider it a punishment,
Violation.
violation would be better. Thank you.
So, Chris, do you want to change that to that the violations have been addressed?
Yes, so I
Okay.
file a motion to, that the violation has been addressed and we move forward from here.
Well said.
Right.
Second.
A second, all in favor?
No, okay.
Aye. Okay. All right. Very good.
Scott, thank you. Thank you all for your help.
No problem. Like I said, it's open phone policy. Any questions, any concerns about other establishments, please, feel free to reach out. Let us know.
Will do. Thank you, guys.
Thank you guys so much for tonight's meeting. I feel like we, moving forward, we're going to have a better communication between myself and the establishment. Anytime, please, Mike, continue to reach out. Oh, he left. Okay, so I just want them to please continue to reach out if they have any questions directly to me. Thank you.
Okay. If there's nothing else, then I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Thank you.